SuperTalk Mississippi media production.
You're listening to Sports Talk Mississippi On Demand, presented by Pearl River Resort. Escape to Choctaw, Mississippi and enjoy world-class gaming, the Dancing Rabbit Golf Club, and Geyser Falls Water Park. Escape to Pearl River Resort.
Sports Talk Mississippi is on the air. Sports Talk Mississippi is powered by C-Spire. Power your home or business with C-Spire Fiber. To learn more, visit supertalk.fm/C-Spire. C-Spire Fiber powers SuperTalk Mississippi. To the junction, in the Grove, and to the top. This is Sports Talk Mississippi. On your radio and in the game, right here on Super Talk Mississippi.
What a fascinating night of baseball we had last night. We're going to talk about that today with you. I'm Michael Borky. He's Brian Haydad. Southern Miss dominates last night. They run rule. And, I mean, that's exactly what you wanted to happen to start the weekend for the Golden Eagles. If you want to secure that host spot, do that 2 more times and you are good to go, Southern Miss. Mississippi State had a chance to run rule. Offense came to play, although, Jeff Lebby's offense in the third quarter, settling for 2 field goals in the third quarter, I was worried it was going to come back to bite them, only scoring 13 in the third. But they overcame it.
You make your little joke. The Mississippi State baseball team scored double what the Mississippi State football team scored in College Station. Don't knock Brian O'Connor like that. He got the job done.
I wasn't going to go there. I was not going to go there.
I'll do it.
Offense showed up. Pitching, not so much for Mississippi State, but a win is a win, and a win is all they needed. We'll talk about that. Ole Miss had an opportunity. They had an opportunity and just kind of blew it last night in Tuscaloosa. So we will talk about all that and more with you. Read your text on the text line, all that good stuff. Maybe update from the PGA Championship. I've got a Waymo story I've got to tell you guys about. So we're going to have some fun today.
Let's do that. Let's have some fun today. We'll have it in the Pearl River Resort Studios. You can have it at Pearl River Resort. Book your stay now. Book a room. Book a round of golf. Book reservations at one of their awesome restaurants. Book tickets to one of their great live shows. Have fun at Pearl River Resort this weekend and any weekend. PearlRiverResort.com. C-Spire text line open to you at 601-879-4395. With C-Spire, it's easier than ever to get all the devices you want in one move with the Ultimate Connect bundle. Right now, new and current customers can get a free phone, watch, and tablet, plus 100 gigs of data for just $90. That includes the new iPhone 17 or the Samsung Galaxy S26 for free, and a free smartwatch and tablet to go with it. Don't wait. There's more to see. Visit cspire.com or stop by your local C-Spire store today. C-Spire, inspired by... Wait for it. You!
Where should we begin? I say let's go to College Station first.
Sure.
Mississippi State gets what was ultimately a dominating win. I saw there was some angst about the pitching, but when you win by 7 runs in game 1 of a series on the road against a ranked team, I kind of feel like you're complaining just to complain a little bit. Now, I hear you. I understand. But Mississippi State wins 18-11 over Texas A&M, put up a 13 spot in the third. That is still a staggering number to see in any SEC game. I don't care who.
Yeah.
That's just unbelievable that was allowed to happen. Offensively, State was awesome. 16 hits, just 1 error. A&M, though, had 13 hits, 2 errors for the Aggies, and 11 runs. Valinkis, not his best night. 5 complete, gave up 7 runs, 6 of them earned, did strike out 7. All in all, we talked about it. Go get 1, and you're fine. It's a win. Like all good with the result. There's nuances, but all good with the result last night.
Yeah, you had to get 1. You feel like watching Texas A&M in the way that they pitch, and the lack of the injuries have just wiped them out. That you should feel good about being able to get at least 1 more game. Really interesting note about State and Tomas Valinkis. His 2 worst starts of the year, State's won them both. This one, and he had the lead in this one, so he got the win.
You know what they call that? Complementary baseball.
Yeah, that's what they call it. The other one is obviously LSU, where State had to come from behind, but they did end up getting the win. But he certainly did not have his best stuff last night. And early on, think about the way this game starts for Mississippi State. They go 1-2-3 in the first. In the bottom of the first, two of the first three batters hit solo home runs. It's 2-0 Texas A&M. And you're thinking, oh, no, here we go with this again. And then the third inning happens, and State scores, I believe, 8 runs without an out and end up putting up a 13 spot. Jacob Parker had 5 RBI in that inning. He had 5 RBI in an inning. Somebody asking on the C Spire text line, he's got to have the SEC Freshman of the Year wrapped up. I got to think so at this point. And I'll just go ahead and tell you right now that he'll be one of the favorites next season for SEC Player of the Year if he continues to develop the way it looks like he's going to. What a player he is. Ace Reese stays hot, couple of hits for him. Maluski has a couple hits. That's always good towards the bottom of the order. Even Ryder Woodson found his way on base a couple times. People are going to point to the end of the game where Aiden Teal comes in as a defensive replacement and immediately makes 2 terrible plays that kept State from being able to run rule this game and get out of there early. Made them have to use Maddox Webb, made them had to use Ben Davis because they couldn't run rule Texas A&M when they should have. That's a big concern, obviously, with Teal. I think that's a situation where, just for me personally, Borky, and I'm not the $3 million a year baseball coach, but it's 17-7 and you need 3 outs. You don't really need a defensive replacement. Like, Chance is perfectly good there in center.
Yeah.
Valencius is good enough in left. Just go get 3 outs and go home. You don't have to overthink that. But Teal, I mean, there's no denying what he did was inexcusable. I'll be surprised to see him the rest of the weekend the way that he played last night. But big win. You had to get one. You're now 10th in the RPI. You're ahead of Texas A&M, who, go back to our bracket previews this week. A&M was the 8th seed, I think, in both brackets. Now you're ahead of them. You are ahead of Florida in the RPI. You're ahead of Georgia's not a concern, but you're ahead of Ole Miss. You're in place now to get a home regional, and you're in the discussion now. If you can get another win or two, and I mean at this point, if you're Mississippi State, you should be greedy. The way A&M pitches, you can absolutely get both of these games. If you can sweep them, I think at 18-12 in the conference, you would absolutely be one of the top 8 seeds. But they've done
especially
enough.
with some other stuff happening around them too.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, and this is what sometimes people don't realize. Auburn, if Auburn gets swept by Georgia this weekend, which I don't think will happen, but it could, right? Well, good. Auburn, who just took 2 out of 3 from Mississippi State, would only have 16 SEC wins, whereas State, if they were to sweep Texas A&M or even just win one more game, would have 17. That puts them ahead in the pecking order. You could get ahead of Auburn. And you got to remember, the RPI is not the be-all, end-all. They don't seed by the RPI. There's still a committee that does these things. They're going to take those things into account. So State's in a good spot. They did what they had to do. Now it's about adding on and trying to get some more space between you and the idea of going on the road for a super regional.
And probably locks you into a host no matter what happens the rest of the weekend, but it's better just to take care of that. One more will absolutely guarantee it no matter what. I mean, end all discussion about hosting. If you win tonight or tomorrow, you're hosting. Done. You can go over in Hoover, and there is still postseason baseball happening in
we got somebody trying to grammatically correct me. I will not have it saying I should say RBIs. Absolutely not. Well, runs batted ins, that's not a word. Runs batted in. The runs is the plural. RBI is a plural. You had 5 RBI in the game. You had 5 runs batted in. Don't you dare.
No, I agree with you. I say RBI. I mean, you could really be stupid and go RSBI, but nobody does that.
Yeah.
I love all of our listeners. Who cares?
No, I'm just saying.
Not you. I mean, just who cares? He said RBI instead of RBIs. Who cares?
It's runs batted in.
Yes.
Or run. It depends on how many. It depends on how many runs it is. RBIs is not a word. It's not a thing. I don't buy into it. Stop.
1 run batted in.
1 run batted in.
Or 2 runs batted in.
Very good. So, for State, There wasn't anybody who asked about Saturday yet. I'm just going to assume McPherson's going to go there. But Duke Stone tonight for Mississippi State, need him to deliver, a good 5-6 innings if you can get that from him. And, you need your bats to stay hot. That's the main thing. Like, whatever happens on the mound can happen if your bats can stay hot. This is, again, we've talked about it all week. This is not a great pitching team for Texas A&M. They're throwing a guy tonight who, his numbers are not fantastic. If you can get on the scoreboard early, give Stone some cushion, he can stay in the game for you and put you in a position where you can get to Saturday with a chance to really do some damage.
601-879-4395 is the C Spire text line. 601-879-4395. Andy says my dog's name was RBI, pronounced Ribby. I like that.
There you go. So there you go.
I have not heard that before. I've
heard Ribbies, yeah.
No, a dog named Ribby for a baseball fan. I have not heard that. That's cool.
Gotcha.
I mean, especially around here, you get. There's a lot of Swayzes out there. I don't know if there's any dudes out there. I kind of feel like that's not the best dog name in the world.
State's current mascot is named Dak. So
I know, but I'm talking like a baseball-themed one.
Oh, yeah.
Ribby's a good baseball-themed dog name.
Yeah, for State, Jake would probably be the dog name.
Ooh, that is a good dog name.
Yeah.
That's a really good
Jake is a great dog name. So, yeah.
We'll be right back. Sports Talk Mississippi.
In the Venable Glass. You can be a part of Sports Talk Mississippi. 888-808-8637 on Super Talk Mississippi.
Welcome back, Sports Talk Mississippi. We'll get to some of your texts on the text line right now. Like this one, if you're State and have a chance to win the series, don't you throw McPherson tonight and worry about tomorrow.
Would not bump him up.
How healthy is he? Yeah.
You don't want to do anything to get him off schedule. And stick with the plan. Stone's good to go tonight. Trust in your bats. Trust in Duke Stone. He's been good enough this year. I wouldn't change that. Absolutely not.
Is it insane to think that if you win tonight, you consider not throwing him at all? Depending on if his ankle's 100% or not?
Some people have brought that up. I asked Brooks Bryan about that on today's Thunder and Lightning podcast. He says he would just keep with the plan, right? Because you want to get him some innings. And if you throw him on Wednesday of the SEC tournament, you're getting off of kilter here, all right? Just stick with the plan is what he said. Just don't change anything up. You don't need change at this point in the season. You need to stick with the plan. I think I agree with him.
We shall see. Why do people not have faith in Stone? Somebody asks.
I think it's just because I don't know if it's lack of faith in Stone as much as it is they have a lot of faith in McPherson. And they want to see him back. They want to see that guy who we got to see in the first few weeks of the season before he got hurt. They want to see him back throwing the ball 97 miles an hour again. But Stone's been really good this year.
Andy says got to go with Stone, especially someone who's less than their third starter. Yeah, A&M's in a world of hurt on the mound this weekend to begin with. So, stick with the plan. You're fine. You're fine. You don't need to stretch anyone or anything over the next couple of games, all things considered. On the flip side, in Tuscaloosa, Ole Miss goes into the seventh with a 3-2 lead over Alabama. And Hunter Elliott got to see the seventh. And inning started with a single, and then he had an error. Mm-hmm. And then there was the inability later on in the inning to complete a double play. And then, no, wait, that was the error. I've got it backwards. Anyway, bad defense. There was an error and then an inability to complete a double play, which they ruled as fielder's choice. And that 3-2 lead turns into a 5-3 lead in the seventh. And we got one text earlier that Elliott was left in too long. I mean, if you can record an out, though, I don't necessarily agree with that. But even still, you have your guy on the mound And he inherited kind of a mess, did Calhoun. And he gave up 2 hits. And that's the guy you want in that spot. And he gave up hits. And time again this season, he's been in that spot and gotten them out of jams and things like that. The qualm with what happened to Ole Miss last night, to me, is not pitching decisions. I think they made fine decisions. Elliott seeing the 7th was fine. You just have to play better defense behind him. You have to be able to execute. And then Calhoun, again, he gave up 2 hits, and just that's your guy. And sometimes in sports that happens. People roll their eyes at the "that's baseball" comment, but that's baseball. That kind of stuff happens. There's a lot of discussion, hey, Dad, about what happened in the 9th. It did a lot of pinch hitting. Reuter pinch hit. Sermons ran for Reuter, but then you had Topher Jones and then Cannon Golden in that spot in the 9th. They already scored a run in the 9th. You have the opportunity to tie the game, and those at-bats were given. I mean, Golden, he's a freshman. And in that spot, you have a lefty-lefty matchup anyway, and a lot of people are wondering, why go to him as opposed to Randall? If you're doing all of this pinch hitting, all of this stuff here in the 9th when you need 1 run, you're going to a freshman who has been put in that spot before, and it didn't go well. And, I mean, it's not like, Randall's the second coming of Derek Jeter or anything like that, but you have a more experienced player that you could have put in that spot and chose to go with the young freshman, and he watched strike 3 right down the middle ball game. And that, to me, is more worthy of scrutiny than letting Elliott see the 7th error leads to you going to Calhoun. That's fine. It just didn't work, but I'm not going to criticize in hindsight a good decision. The 9th makes a little bit less sense to me. And then you had the weird deal with the trying to lay down a bunt early in the game, and somebody missed a signal. Either runner or batter missed a signal. Runner on third, he takes off for home, shows bunt, pulls the bat back.
Oh, no.
And he's out by 10 feet.
Yeah.
Now, it was a really bad pitch, but somebody screwed up. If you know runner's coming and your sign is to bunt, you have to
get the ball down. Yeah.
You have to throw the bat at it. You have to do something. And he pulled the bat back, and that cost Ole Miss a run. I think it was at the 3rd inning, right? You guys have to correct me if I'm wrong there. But so you screwed up early in the game with somebody got a signal wrong there. Cost you possibly a run there. Mm-hmm. And multiple fielding issues later in the game cost you runs. And then you put a freshman in a spot that he probably should not have been in later in the game. It's just tough. You had an opportunity to not steal one, but Elliott was good, and it just offensively they kind of disappeared there for a while, and tough loss. They had a real chance to go get one, and now their backs are against the wall for the hosting conversation anyway.
Yeah. It kind of appears like, what we were talking about prior to last weekend about Ole Miss reverting back to some of the bad habits they had early in the season of inability to get runners across and some defensive issues. I know it may still be a little too early to talk about. We're nearing.
They're not a good defensive baseball team.
I don't know.
Just not.
Hold on now. It may be a little early for that. Hold on. But they seem to, last weekend they seem to have gotten over it, but some inconsistency here. And yes, now their backs are against the wall. If they want to host, they've got to win 2 in a row in Tuscaloosa. And Alabama's still got plenty to play for as well. They want to be a top 8 seed, so they need to win these games as well. This is not a situation where all the hay is in the barn for Alabama. They've got work to do as well. So going to be a very interesting couple of days there in Tuscaloosa for these two teams.
Yeah, the last 6 out that the Ole Miss batters gave Alabama, the last 6 outs, 5 of them were strikeouts, 2 of them were looking at strike 3. I mean, that's just that, and they had their best hitters up in the 8th, and they all struck out. That's just tough. Foley had the single that scored the run in the 9th, but that was just kind of indicative of what has been the frustrating part of this team all season. Mm-hmm. If they win 2 more games, they're hosting. Like, it's a good baseball team. But last night showed you kind of what gets in their way, and it's themselves, really. Again, bad defense, miscommunication, some stupid stuff, as Mike Bianco described it to us a few weeks ago, stupid baseball, and then they strike out too much. You don't put the ball in play, really, in the 8th or the 9th with the game on the line, and you don't even give yourself an opportunity. Here, let me pull up the actual strikeout numbers for Ole Miss last night. 16 strikeouts for Ole Miss hitters last night.
That's not. You just can't have that. Can't have that at this time of year. You've got to be able to put the ball in play.
2 errors, 16 strikeouts, a miscommunication on the base paths.
It's going to be tough to win against a good,
and you lose by 1.
And you're playing a good team, so it's going to be tough to win games like that. And yeah, that got them.
Yeah, and somebody said, don't forget, Ole Miss had 4 errors against UT Martin in the midweek. They are not a good defensive baseball team.
I mean, look, we still got a long way to go. All right, let's not make too early a judgment here. We got Vince and Pontotoc. Rebels play a clean game, they win, and the outlook is different. But hey, they struggled to play clean games all year. He's right. This team has won in spite of itself a couple of times this year, but they're
super talented, but they do
when they
dumb
play
things.
well, and you get the team that swept LSU and the team that took 2 out of 3 last weekend. You said it on Monday's show. Like their ceiling when they play, the ceiling for State and Ole Miss is they could go to Omaha and do some damage there.
Yes,
but they're both inconsistent. Mm-hmm. The most consistent team this season has been Southern Miss. I think State and Ole Miss's ceiling is higher than Southern Miss's, but they are more consistent, so they could find themselves in Omaha as well because they just keep winning games.
601-879-4395. A lot of your messages have come in. We will get to those when we come back. There's still a lot to get to baseball related. Southern Miss dominated last night as they should. We'll get to that coming up later in the show as well. We'll look at the scoreboard around the SEC. We will look at what happened in the RPI last night as well, which, I mean, there's really no change. Not much, but we'll still look at that. We'll talk to Jay Powell. So we got a lot to get to still, but keep texting in. Would love to hear from you guys. You tell us what you want to hear, and we'll get to that when we come back. Sports Talk Mississippi in the Pearl River Resort Studio. Stick with us.
From the Sports Talk Mississippi on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Welcome back. Sports Talk Mississippi, Michael Borky and Brian Haydad with you. Really glad that you guys are with us. So a sampling of the text line, especially related to Ole Miss's loss to Alabama. Had it and just let it slip away last night. Somebody says, how did that last batter just watch strike 3 to end the game? It's a really tough spot for a young player to be in, but, I mean, you watch strike 3 right down the pipe, man. I mean, you have just... it's easier said than done. There's a reason that he's an SEC baseball player, and I am not. So I can sit on my couch and tell you what he should have done all day long. But, man, you're in that spot. You cannot watch strike 3 right down the pipe go. You can't do it. With runners on, down 1 in the 9th, if you're going to go down, you got to go down swinging in that spot. Somebody says Ole Miss had their best 3 hitters up in the 8th. That went 3 up, 3 down. That did not help either. Yeah, Vince said earlier, Rebs play a clean game. They win and the outlook is different. Struggled to play a clean game all year. Tim says, shocked they scored 1 in the 9th. No way I thought that they were getting 2. Somebody says Bama has 73 errors on the season as well. Yes, Alabama, the worst fielding team in the SEC, actually, is Alabama by percentage. But they overcome it with being good at everything else, apparently. What do we think? Is Becerra back? Yeah, that was a huge, in that spot, that was a massive hit for him, having that home run. Unfortunately for him, it didn't, quote unquote, count for anything, but he had been slumping bad, and you hope that gets him out of that. Tim says Ole Miss defensively is not terrible. What is terrible is their inability to make consistent contact on offense. I will tell you, look, they're 11th in the SEC in fielding. They are closer to 13th than they are 10th. I would qualify that as a bad. They're a bad defensive baseball.
Hell,
that's bad.
Still a lot of games left to play.
That's simply, it's just not good enough, and it has cost them games this season. But he is right. The inability to make contact is the bigger issue for Ole Miss. Ole Miss 13th in the SEC in team batting average at 268. Here's the bigger number though. 553 strikeouts. 553 strikeouts on the season. Second most strikeouts in the league is South Carolina, the worst team in the league, or possibly. They have 529. And the only other team with more than 500 is Vanderbilt, who is in danger of missing the postseason, and they have 516. Everybody else is in the 400s. I mean, again, Ole Miss has 553 strikeouts. Missouri has 416. You look at Auburn has 392. Kentucky has 385. The top of the best hitting team in the SEC right now in Georgia has 420. So you have 133 more strikeouts this season than Georgia. Mississippi State only has 441. So 112 more strikeouts than Mississippi State.
State finally got ahead of Ole Miss on home runs this week.
Home runs here. So State has 95 to Ole Miss is 94.
Yeah.
That is
State with three last night. So.
Yeah. Tim, you are right about that.
Like four last night.
They're not a good fielding team, but their inability to consistently just put the ball in play. And look at what happens. Alabama did last night. Ole Miss couldn't execute. Alabama wins the game. Instead of 5 strikeouts in your last 6 outs, what if you just put the ball in play 5 times? And if it turns into 5 outs, great. But you didn't even give yourself a chance. And that's been the consistent theme with this team all season. Just an impossibly high strikeout rate. And as a result, I mean, you scored 4 runs. That's not like the worst night ever, but you strike out 16 times. You don't give yourself a chance. Somebody says, not optimistic about this program going forward one single bit. Looks like Bianco's recruited poorly for the future. Somebody better open up the purse strings and hit the portal big time. I hear you, and frustration is certainly valid. They are still 2 wins away from hosting a regional, though. I hear you. It's frustrating to watch them not be able to execute, watch the approach at the plate, etc. If the season ends where they go 2-Q or whatever in a regional, circle back to that conversation.
Yeah.
You're justified. I'm not telling you you're wrong. Just, let's let the season play out first. But you are right. I mean, since they won the national championship, worst team in the SEC, got eliminated in their own regional by Murray State. So, it's valid. Somebody says, I love baseball, but I want to know what seasoning you'll use for the weekend.
Seasoning. That's a random question. We even said what we're cooking. But he just wants to know what we're cooking, we're putting on it.
Yeah. Ben says they're tied for 3rd in walks, but 9th in on-base percentage.
That's not great. It's just because you're not getting enough hits. And then Ole Miss, when they get guys on base, they don't do a good job of bringing them in. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there are a lot of solo home runs.
Somebody says when they're on, they're the most fun team to watch. Yeah, I mean, they do have a lot of explosive power, and they've got a pitching staff that is, I mean, you can use the word explosive again if you'd like, that has electric stuff as well. But when they're off, it is very frustrating, for sure. Somebody says, hey, Dad, thoughts on the A&M color commentator?
He wasn't great. I got a kick out of there was the moment where he's just like, none of these balls are particularly hard hit, and then Jacob Parker happened. Parker's home run. That thing made it all the way to Austin. That thing landed in the Longhorns ballpark. So, yeah, I mean,
I see that.
We say it all the time, though. It's like, I really do feel like State and Ole Miss, their SEC network broadcasts are just a little different. Like Keith Kessinger is obviously very, very good for Ole Miss. For State, Bart and Charlie do a great job. I don't want to throw shade at the Ole Miss play-by-play guy. I cannot remember his name. I met him in Oxford, but I could not remember.
Really, I think he's really good at his job.
Yeah, and of course, they sometimes have Richard on there as well. But regardless of that, like sometimes with these SEC network broadcasts, you get a real hometown crew. That's what you had last night in College Station.
Yeah. Again, I say, what I don't know what people expect out of a streaming-only broadcast from a college baseball stadium. Who do you think they can hire to do that job? You've got to live in the town and be willing to do it. And it pays, but it's not like these guys are making a whole crap ton of money. These are side jobs. Or they do a lot of, like in the Ole Miss guy, for example, he calls like all of their streaming games. Like that's his thing. Mm-hmm. The baseball I guess it's a poorly kept secret. The baseball broadcasts are not watched enough for them to not find somebody that's like, hey, can you do it? That like who lives in College Station that's not going to be an A&M guy that can call baseball games every Tuesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You're going to get homers on that thing. You can't ship Tom Hart to all of these locations every single day.
Right.
Just a limited roster of available people that are willing to do stuff like that.
I ran into him last Saturday. I was down at the concession stand with my wife, and I see him, and we start talking, and I introduce him to Jennifer, and I'm like, hey, Jennifer, this is Tom Hart. If Richard was more successful and more handsome, he would be Tom Hart. And Tom got a big kick out of that, as you can imagine. So it was good to talk to him down there. Yeah, like it's just some of these crews just they're homers, and so be it. It just is what it is.
Yeah, you're just not going to get anything different on these kind of broadcasts. I mean, guys at a lot of places, not here, because you love baseball here. 3, but we're talking about the SEC network here. 2 big, passionate fan bases that watch baseball religiously. At most places, softball gets watched more. Oklahoma, more people go to their softball games and watch the softball streams at Oklahoma. You would be surprised at some of the streaming numbers for the non-Mississippi, LSU, Arkansas games around even the SEC. It's not very high. Like take Florida, for example. Great program, great team. They can't get people to show up to the stadium. Beautiful ballpark. Looks exactly like another ballpark that I've seen. I mean, identical. It's like they built the same ballpark at a smaller scale.
Yeah, well, that happens.
It's almost like somebody took the plans from the other one and just said, guys, build me that. But they can't get people to go. You can't imagine that they're watched very well either if they're not showing up. So I see that every week, though, people complaining about the announcers. It's like you guys are just lucky here in Mississippi that you got awesome crews. It's not going to be like that everywhere.
Right.
But we do have awesome crews here.
Yes.
So credit to them for that. We'll be back in just a bit.
In the track. Now, back to Sports Talk Mississippi.
It doesn't get any better than this.
On Super Talk Mississippi.
Somebody says, I like when the home team commenters are homers, just a little. Adds another interesting layer to the broadcast. The best things in sport, one of the best things in sports, not the best thing in sports, is when a huge moment happens. Like a soul-crushing moment. Mm-hmm. Buzzer beater from half court, whatever it is. And somebody pulls the radio broadcast of the losing team. Those are so good.
I've talked about it before, but if you go back to when Connor Hyzak walked off Ole Miss at the SEC tournament, David Kellum went to the commercial break before he got to home. Like, he's still rounding third and like, this is the Ole Miss baseball radio network. He's out. He's had enough. So,
I love that.
It happens. So.
Somebody on the text line also telling us to give advice to David Kellum.
Hey, I'm not in that business.
Me giving advice to David Kellum would be like me telling Scotty Scheffler he's got to change his footwork, all right? I mean, it's just like there's levels to this where it's like, man. That's like my 6-year-old once told me that he was smarter than me. That'd be like me giving David Kellum advice. My 6-year-old saying that he knows more than I do. Yeah.
All right, down in Hattiesburg last night, a run rule victory for the Golden Eagles as they continue to win. I mean, they're on a 7-game winning streak here to finish. That could be more. Let me double check that because they may have won. Let's see, they've swept the last 2 weekends. Yeah, they're on. I'm sorry, it is a 7-game winning streak. 14-3 is the final against Georgia Southern, and of course, the good news for Southern Miss is that Coastal Carolina also lost.
They are plummeting.
They lost game 1 to Louisiana 7-2. As it stands right this second, Southern Miss and Coastal Carolina are tied for the Sun Belt lead. If the Golden Eagles finish the weekend with one more win than the Chanticleers, did I pronounce it correctly?
I think you did. I don't know.
All right. They will be the Sun Belt champions. The Hattiesburg Regional is pretty much locked in stone. It's going to be about Southern Miss. Can they do enough to get into that top 8? And be a potential super regional host, but Golden Eagles are just hot right now, and they're playing their best baseball. And on the other side of the coin, Coastal Carolina, which was a team that I think 3 weeks ago they were saying was going to be a national seed, one of the top 8s, they're down to 25 in the RPI. They've lost they've lost? Is it 2 series in a row, and then they've got this one coming up. No, they lost the series last week, but they did lose a game to Georgia Southern.
They lost a game to Georgia Southern.
Which was a bad loss.
And then Old Dominion was bad losses, too. Their RPI dropped like 12 spots or something like that.
Yeah, they went from they were in the teens, and now they're in the mid-20s. And now, like I said, losing last night to Louisiana. So something to keep an eye on there with USM as they have a chance to really make a big statement here in the final week of the season to win the Sun Belt.
Somebody says, stop with the Southern crap. They don't play anybody. You know they have wins over Ole Miss and State and Alabama this season.
And Oregon State.
This season. They have beaten Ole Miss, Mississippi State, and Alabama this season. I feel like they ain't played nobody thing doesn't apply to them.
Quad 1, Quad 2 wins. Ole Miss has 16, State has 13, Southern Miss has 23. So, I mean, they're just...
what's their strength of schedule? I don't have the RPI up.
Southern's strength of schedule is 17th. For comparison, State is 8 and Ole Miss is 3.
17 strength of schedule is awesome.
Yeah.
No, they've earned this. They've earned the hosting thing. There is nothing fluky, nothing cute, because sometimes the committee gets cute and awards hosts to teams with RPIs in the 20s or whatever to grow the game and all that crap.
Yeah.
No, when Southern Miss hosts, they earned every second of baseball that gets played in Hattiesburg in 2 weeks.
And there is, as we say here, as we got someone on the C Spire text line, there's a pretty decent chance right now if State can get another win or two that it could be Starkville paired with Hattiesburg, one way or the other. I think it will.
I love his response. Absolute
cinema. I do believe if that were the case, State would be the higher seed, and Golden Eagles would come to Starkville. But it could go the other way around as well.
Somebody says, just tuned in. Is State a lock to host a regional after last night? I wouldn't call it a stone-cold 150% no-doubt lock. It seems unlikely that they're not going to be a host. Is that a fair... Because if they lose the next 2 and then don't win in Hoover, there's a path to that turning into
State not hosting?
Yeah, I mean it's a very unlikely thing.
I think the Starkville Regional is. I mean, look,
I think it's happening too.
I mean, they might be the 14 seed or something like that, but I think State's going to host at this point. 16 and even if they finish 16 and 14, they would have the win over.
They have the Governor's Cup.
The Governor's Cup. They have a win over USM.
What would you call it? Like 95%. Something like that. Like there's still room for it to get weird. But
it could get really weird, but it'd have to get really weird.
Really weird.
Yeah.
But to this point,
looks good.
It looks really good. 601-879-4395, the C Spire text line. PGA Championship happening. Aronimink is still kicking these guys' rear ends, and I love it. I mean, they're struggling out there. It's cold. It's windy. The greens are tough. The guys are frustrated. I love it. That's what Major Championship golf is supposed to be. A mental test and not just who can get to 20 under. So I love it. Shout out Marty watching golf alongside me today. We'll be right back after the news. Sports Talk Mississippi. Stick with us.
If it's sports in Mississippi, you'll hear about it here. Sports Talk Mississippi.
You like this show, huh?
Yeah!
Super Talk Mississippi.
Sports Talk Mississippi back here with you here on a Friday. Brian Haydad and Michael Borky. Guys, this weekend is here. It means you're probably going to be outside. And if you're going to be working on the grass, you need to be doing it with John Deere Green. And if you've got the big projects to take care of, if you've been thinking about upgrading your tractor, Ag Up Equipment has got you taken care of. The Drive Green sales event happening right now through May 23rd at all Ag Up locations. Stop by and get a quote on a John Deere 1 through 5 series, and you're going to be entered to win a John Deere generator and pressure washer package worth over $1,500. And that's not the best part. The best part is the deal on the tractors. You can get 0% financing for 84 months and an additional $500 off select models during the event. Great equipment, great financing, and a chance to win big. Visit agup.com or your local Ag Up equipment location for details. Ag Up Equipment, your down-home John Deere dealer. Borky and I were at Ag Up on Tuesday down in Hattiesburg, and we can confirm those deals are good. And you should take advantage of them. They are. So, all right, coming up here on Sports Talk Mississippi, what's up on Sports Talk Mississippi? Jay Powell joins us in about 30 minutes to talk about Mississippi State, Texas A&M, the final two games of this upcoming series. In the college football fix, what do you got for us today, Borky?
I will tell you when we get to the college football
it's a surprise.
Fix. How about that?
Or surprised me.
Did I not update it in the notes?
You had a quote in there. I thought you would just tell us what about it. Like the best quote of all time, the best take of all time.
Yeah, no, it's the really worst. Bad. It's the worst take of all time. Mike Greenberg,
you said best, but I thought it was sarcastic, so you're correct.
Yeah, Mike Greenberg had just something to say about the playoff, and it's just so wrong. Mm-hmm. We did get an update on the investigation into the Ahmad Hardy situation, the Missouri running back who's from Mississippi. He was shot after a concert. He's okay, but was shot in the leg, had surgery, I guess, almost immediately thereafter. But he is headed back to Missouri and is going to try to play football again this year. Reading from the Associated Press, a 20-year-old man was arrested. Rashadrick Harris of Wayne County was taken into custody in Kentucky, actually. I believe it's Paducah, Kentucky, on Thursday night, and he is awaiting extradition back to the state of Mississippi. So that is really all we know. They took in 3 people as people of interest. They all have been released with no charges. They used security video to identify the suspect and, again, have arrested him in Kentucky, and they're going to get him back to Mississippi to deal with what's next. So Hardy's okay. Hopefully they got the right guy, and he will be punished for his actions, his alleged actions. And, sad stuff, but at least the that they're starting to hand down justice.
That's good stuff. Good to hear.
Yeah.
The next good thing I want to hear is that Ahmad Hardy is ready to play come the kickoff.
Absolutely. Wouldn't that be great? Where should I go next? Oh, I know where I want to go next. I want to save schedule release, at least for a little while.
Okay. I haven't watched the videos yet. I need to get on that. Were there any good ones?
The Chargers nailed it.
See, I didn't play Halo.
Yeah, so you won't. But some of the references were just unbelievable. The Chargers nailed it. The Titans did a really good job.
The Chargers' social media department is very good.
They're spectacular. Took a shot at Vrabel and Rossini in there. There is a little something.
I saw that, yeah.
I forget it. We'll go schedule a release right now.
All right.
Yeah. So the Chargers I think was the best one.
Mm-hmm.
The Titans did a good job. They their video team went to Broadway in downtown, and they would run up to people that really did not look like any. Like for the Raiders one, they found a guy that kind of resembles Fernando Mendoza. It was like, wait, are you Fernando Mendoza? And he would turn around and, no. Oh, man. And then it would cut in like Raiders week, whatever.
Oh, so they tried to find people who look like players.
But didn't look like Derrick Henry's was like, God bless the guy, was like 350 pounds. They're like, are you Derrick Henry? And he looked at him like, me?
That's funny. I'll check that out.
That one was good. The Raiders was good. It had Mendoza and Kirk Cousins in it. The Jags.
They've turned into the Step Brothers. Like, did we just become best friends? Yep.
Yeah, and that'll work out. I mean, Cousins knows what he is at this point in his career. And the Jets was horrible. I mean, just as low budget and just awful.
Here is our schedule.
They did like this paint thing. It was awful. The Saints was okay. They used Hoda Kotb and then a local weather reporter to like pretend like they were doing a weather situation.
Mm-hmm.
What was it? The Bengals had a really good one. Theirs was it was the Broncos. So they did they were flipping through channels on TV.
Yeah.
And for the Chiefs game, they did a play on the show To Catch a Predator.
Oh, no.
And it's a Chiefs fan that walks into the room, and this guy's like, why don't you have a seat over there? And he's like, we have evidence right here that in 2009, you were wearing Patriots jerseys.
Oh,
so all the watch parties.
That's funny.
Is good. And they bring up, you have the Lakers in your Twitter bio, that kind of stuff.
Oh,
and so they play on your
Chiefs
Chiefs fans or bandwagons. That was a good one.
I like that, yeah.
So mostly good. Somebody says the Giants was bad. Honestly, I didn't watch it. I haven't seen the Giants one. I need to go check that out. I saved as many as I could, but I did miss a few. Like, I didn't see the Packers either. The Jags trolled everybody. They made it look like Trevor Lawrence got his hair cut off.
Got a haircut?
But it was a wig that they cut. They even had pictures of him at practice with, like, the fake short hair on and stuff. But he ultimately didn't cut it. But,
Good.
yeah, I know Hoda has ties to New Orleans. It was fine. It didn't move me the way some of the other ones moved me. But, somebody says I'm a Giants fan, and theirs was horrendous.
Oh, well, there you go.
Well, don't love to see that. But
so for the Saints.
Their schedule is officially out. The 3 preseason games are the Jags, at the Rams, and at the Cowboys. But, whatever. We already knew this, mentioned it briefly yesterday. They opened the season in back-to-back weeks on the road at Detroit and then at Baltimore. Both of those games are at noon. It's a tough start.
That's a tough start. No question about it.
The home opener will be a 3:30 game against the aforementioned Las Vegas Raiders. Fernando Mendoza probably not starting in that game unless Cousins gets hurt, or he is just horrendous.
He could be starting.
He could be, but an early draw for the Raiders is Yeah, it is what it is as the home opener.
Yeah.
And then week 4, the 20th anniversary of Dome coming.
Yeah.
Atlanta Falcons, although I guess week 3 is more appropriate of a date
It
than
would have
week
been.
4.
It's 3 days versus 10 days, but this is what they did.
Monday Night Football, Atlanta Falcons at the New Orleans Saints on ESPN. 20 years since that infamous game on Monday Night Football where Steve Gleason blocked the punt early. And then, of course, just the emotions of that moment and then everything with him that's followed after that. Just one of the more iconic moments in American sports history. Not like top 4, but it's up there when you talk about iconic sports moments.
It's up there for sure.
It's up there. And so the 20-year.
Yeah.
Hate to make you guys feel old knowing that was 20 years ago.
I saw today that Charles Woodson Jr. committed to Michigan, so don't feel bad. I already felt old.
And then 3 home games in a row for the Saints. The Raiders, Falcons on Monday night, and then the Minnesota Vikings come to New Orleans in week 5.
Not a lot of balance in this schedule. After the first 2 are on the road to the Saints play 6 of their next 7 at home, and then they go through a stretch of 4 of the next 5 on the road. Like, that's a tough. Basically, what it says in that 6 out of 7, you got to make some hay there. You need to be.
You got to win
5-2 or something like that.
Week 6, they are at the Giants. So my favorite time to be on social media, as I've learned, is when the Saints play the Giants, and I post something pro Saints, and the very small fraction of Ole Miss fans that get mad about everything get mad at me for not rooting for Jackson Dart.
Yeah, I know how that feels. Trust me. I've gotten the other side of that with Dak. Yes, for sure. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, when Dart fumbled, people got really mad at me for being excited about that. Now I say people, like 3 people, but
that's people. That's technically people.
Anyway. But that'll be fun for local interest. And then week 7 is when they go to Paris to play the Steelers. We'll look at the rest of the schedule when we come back. Sports Talk Mississippi.
Sacre bleu!
And the Venable Glass.
Sports Talk Mississippi is brought to you by Covington County Hospital in Collins, where your health matters.
What we're gonna do right here is go back.
And now back
to the sports. This is Sports Talk Mississippi
So let's get rolling.
on Super Talk Mississippi.
Welcome back to Sports Talk Mississippi, finishing up the Saints schedule as released last night. So after they go to Paris, 8:30 in the morning, coffee and football.
And croissant.
I hate the games. I don't hate that I'll get coffee.
I will go to La Boulangerie and have a little pastry, a little patisserie, a little café au lait, and
What is cafe au lait?
coffee with milk.
See, America just does it so much better. Coffee with milk.
Well, the French word for coffee is café, and the French word for milk is lait. It's café au lait. It's coffee with milk.
Yeah, don't give me that romance language crap. I want good old American. All right, we speak American around here. But they get a bye after that naturally because of the travel. Then they host the Browns and the Panthers in back-to-back weeks. So, again, a lot of front-loading home games here. Mm-hmm. Then they hit the road in back-to-back weeks. They go to Chicago and then Cincinnati, host Green Bay, back-to-back division games at the Panthers and at the Bucks, host Arizona, go to Atlanta, and then host the Bucks. That is the Saints schedule.
I got to be honest with you. Looking at this, I see 17-0, if I'm looking at it correctly. Maybe 16-1. I don't know.
It really is pretty darn favorable, though.
It's a fourth place schedule. I mean, you play. How many playoff teams are they playing? Outside of Carolina, the Packers. The Lions didn't make the playoff, right? They did not.
No, they did not.
So did the Ravens? The Ravens did not make the playoffs. So, yeah, you're playing 3 playoff teams. You play the Panthers twice, the Packers once, the Bears, and the Steelers. So 4 playoff teams. You got 4 playoff teams on here, man. This is a schedule that's built. If Shuck can take a step forward, and he should, then yes, should be a schedule that you can do pretty well.
Yeah. Somebody says, by the way, is this show going to move towards the ad model that was seen in last night's baseball game? Yeah, hey, Dad, somebody in the production truck was high out of their mind. They kept firing commercials during at-bats in the game last night.
The Ole Miss game?
I think the LeBron home run was missed because of commercial.
I don't know what's going on there.
LeBron James?
Justin LeBron.
Yeah, it was horrendous. Cowboys schedule, why not? They open the season at the Giants, which we've talked about that.
Yeah.
Dak v. Dart to start the season on Sunday Night Football. Mm-hmm. Then they host Washington and Baltimore before they go to Houston. Host Tampa Bay. That's a Thursday night game on Prime before they go to Green Bay. Mm-hmm. So in the first 7 games of the season, the Cowboys have 1 game at noon. The Saints have 2 games not at noon. One of them's at 8:30 in the morning.
Well, the better point to make is the final stretch where the Cowboys don't play a noon game until the final, the second to last weekend of the season, whereas the Saints are all noon games. Now, obviously the NFL can flex some of those games as we go along, but as it stands right now, if you don't get at church until like 1 o'clock, you're going to miss some Saints games.
One of my favorite Daniel Tosh bits is, you ever been in church and thought, hey, when's this expletive gonna wrap it up? We got kickoff. He says, I hate being a football fan on the West Coast. Oh, man. Again, I vote Daniel Tosh guest picker. Do what you have to do. Make it happen. That's your guy.
I don't disagree.
Daniel Tosh, got to do it. They're at Philly for Monday Night Football in Week 7 before hosting Arizona. They go to Indy before hosting San Francisco, and then Tennessee and Philly in back-to-back-to-back weeks. So 3 straight home games for the Cowboys before they go to Seattle for Monday Night Football. Ooh, that'll be a wild environment.
Yeah, you would think so.
Have their off week in Week 14, so they got to play a lot of football before their off week. Then they go to the Rams, host the Jags and Giants before they go to Washington. That is your Cowboys schedule. They only have 1 game listed for preseason also.
The Cowboys?
Yeah, just at Seattle is the only game they have listed.
Well, I'm looking at their schedule.
Well, I'm looking at ESPN.
Okay, yeah, I'm looking at the actual Cowboys Twitter page. They have Seattle, and they have the Cardinals, and then the Saints.
Taurusday, August 6th, by the way, is when the Hall of Fame game will be Panthers and Cardinals.
Not that far away.
It's really not that far away.
It's not, you can almost taste it.
Okay, so 2 more weeks in May.
Which, speaking of things that are
like
close,
10.5 weeks?
Well, never mind that. Things that are close. We are doing 100 teams next week, right?
We are doing 100 teams next
week. Starts next week.
We got to find the bit, though. What's the bit going to be?
Okay, I'm gonna get in the lab this weekend, and I'll figure that out.
You're gonna workshop the bit?
Yeah. All right, I got it.
Somebody says someone posted the customer service number for the ESPN app on one of the message boards last night. By the time I called, you could tell that the representative heard from a ton of Ole Miss fans. Didn't even have to tell him what game he was calling about.
This was not on the radio broadcast.
No,
this was on the ESPN. So the Alabama person.
Yeah, the producer there had been. They spent too much time at Innisfree. Must have been celebrating graduation or something.
That's awesome.
And kept firing commercials during the actual game.
All right. What do you think of this idea? Every team, we do kind of like a version of Todd's Taste of the Town. I will do a little bit of research and I'll find like what the popular restaurant is in that town, and we'll talk about it. So we'll do like a little food.
Absolutely.
thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sold.
Okay.
Sold. You're going to get some good ones. Like when Miami of Ohio comes up, apparently Oxford, Ohio is just like this great college town.
We'll figure it out.
And,
so
and they've got all kinds of stuff there.
I'll do my research. I'll reach out to some folks that if you are an alum of one of these universities, you feel free to correct me. But that's what we're going to do. We're going to figure out some places to go in case you're just ever in town for whatever reason. Hey, tomorrow I got to be in Ypsilanti. Where should I go eat? I got you covered.
Somebody asked us who the highest paid quarterback in the NFL is. It is Dak Prescott.
Is it still Dak?
The AAV of his contract, the average annual value, is $60 million a year. $60 million. His contract is $240 million, but Joe Burrow's is $275. He just has more years and more guarantees. Actually, Dak only has $129 million guaranteed.
Who's the next one up to be extended? Herbert?
It is Herbert, right?
Yeah, got to be, right?
You just don't have to give guys. I don't understand that concept in the NFL. Well, he's next, so he has to set the market. Why? Now, Herbert may be a different story, I guess, but like Brock Purdy, he's good. Did you have to give him a $265 million contract?
Probably not.
Who was going to pay him that besides you?
Yeah.
Nobody.
It's kind of like the coaches things about with the athletic directors. Like, hey, who was trying to get your coach on May 5th? Nobody. But you just gave him an extension, and now when he sucks, you're going to pay him a $60 million buyout. Oh, well, whatever. Did Devon Achane get a new contract today?
Yes, I thought it was yesterday. I mean, this week, right?
$32 million guaranteed, 4-year, $68 million deal.
Yeah.
Good for him. Great player. Fantasy football stud. If you play in a PPR league and you get Achane, you can almost book yourself into the finals, man. That guy catches a ton of passes. At least he did. I don't know what he's going to do now with the new QB down there, but we'll see.
Yeah, Steve is right, by the way. So they fired commercials during the game, and then in between innings, they just showed like an overhead view of the field. So they show commercials during play.
I can't wait to see what happens tonight. I may have to tune into the Ole Miss game for just a minute.
They're trying their best out there, I guess, but
they're doing all they can.
They're trying. Is Herbert worth a supermax? So that's an NBA term, of course, but is he worth $65 million a year?
I don't know. He hasn't had the success in the playoffs. But then again, neither really has Dak. Burrow's been to a Super Bowl at least.
I mean, right now, so he's making 52. Do you have to give him a raise?
Maybe. Perhaps.
Deshaun Watson's is.
Don't worry about that. That's not a
$46 million a year.
Yeah.
To do nothing.
Well, he's going to start this year.
Oh, yeah.
He won't be good, but he is going to start.
We'll be right back. Sports Talk Mississippi. Jay Powell joins us on the Farm Bureau guest line when we return.
From the Seabrook, Mississippi, Sports Talk Mississippi, your new home for exclusive sports coverage here in the Magnolia State.
Let me put it to you this way.
Right here on SuperTalk Mississippi.
All right. Sports Talk Mississippi. Brian Hayden and Michael Borky here with you on a Friday afternoon. Game 2 between Mississippi State and Texas A&M. And just under 90 minutes away, Jay Powell joins us now. He's not on the call this weekend, but he definitely was watching last night. And Jay, what a weird game. I mean, I don't know that a lot of games finish 18-11, and I'm sitting here thinking that the team that won had some issues and had some problems. State dominated the game, and yet I can't help thinking about the way that the game finished. What did you see from Mississippi State last night? What did you think about the way the Dogs played?
Well, I mean, it's I don't know. I'm like you. I mean, it ended so strange. I mean, we should have been out of the game in the seventh inning and say 2 more innings of pitching. It was just a weird deal. I mean, it really was the way it ended. But I'll tell you the positive of it, though, was, and I've said for the past couple of weeks, offensively, I felt like we've gotten too reliant on the home run. Mm-hmm. Now, we hit some home runs last night, don't get me wrong, but we pieced together hits. And that was, to me, that was what was kind of a real positive out of it was, the way we kind of pieced together the hits and were able to, 1, score a bunch of runs, but 2, continue to kind of add on.
One player who is starting to figure things out here, and I shouldn't say figure things out because he's been doing it for 2 years now, but Ace Reese had a great weekend last weekend, had a good night again last night, went the other way a couple of times, including one into the shift where, I mean, that's just a free base hit for him if he can find a way to go the other way in these situations. When you've seen him these past couple of weeks, does it look like he's starting to – it's late in the season, but it's starting to click a little bit easier for him?
Yeah, and, to me, Ace is – I mean, he's just a hitter. I mean, he finds a way to get hits. He, whether he just – sometimes he's out in front of the ball a little bit, and he ends up still finding a barrel and finding a hit. And when he's really, really good, though, it's when when he has the ability to hit the ball to left center. And when he's using the left side of the field, that's when, to me, he's at his best.
Valinkis last night, I think it's kind of funny that the 2 worst starts of the season for Valinkis are both wins for Mississippi State. And, hell, he got the win last night, leaving with the lead. But I didn't think he had his best stuff last night, but he competed the whole night. He didn't walk batters, gave up some hits for sure. But what does it say about a guy who, when he doesn't have his best stuff, is still able to get outs and be effective?
Well, I mean, it's just kind of the pitcher he is and the competitor he is. Last night was, no pitcher's going to complain about having 13 runs or run support. But, I mean, that inning lasted so long. And, it's really hard to come back and be sharp. I mean, it just is. We can all as pitchers say what we want, try to approach it like it's 2-0, try to do this, that. But, when you've sat for an hour and you've got a 13-run lead, it makes it a little tough. But he was able to get us 5 and, get him into the 6th inning and get a win. And so, that's, to me, that means a lot. I mean, because that could have easily gone the other way, but he just kind of competed and kept himself in the game.
I'm sure you've played with guys who've made errors in situations like Aiden Teal did last night. When Teal comes back to the locker room, what are his teammates telling him?
Well, I mean, it was just, like I said, to me, it was just so strange. I mean, I think, honestly, I probably asked him if he was okay because it's like, I mean, especially the second one, it was like he didn't see it at all. But, Aiden's had a tough stretch the last couple of weeks. So, one thing I think about this group of guys, they seem like a real solid, kind of close group. And I think they've always kind of got each other's back as far as that goes. So, I'm sure you just say, you say, hey, man, you okay? You good? And, just keep playing. That's all you can do. You make mistakes, you make errors, you misread balls, but you got to get right back out there.
We've had quite a few people text into the show, and I've had some people on social media ask me about McPherson and how State should handle him this weekend. The question is, if State can win this game tonight, they've got the series in hand. Do you maybe hold McPherson until SEC tournament or something like that? I've come to the conclusion they shouldn't mess with the plan. Just stick with what you were planning to do. Keep McPherson on the same schedule so that when you get to the regionals, he's good to go. Do you agree with that, or would you do something differently?
No, if he feels good and if he bounced back and he's on schedule to make his start on Sunday, I don't care if you beat him 100-0 tonight or you can beat 100-0. He starts on Sunday because if that's the only way you're going to get him back to where he needs to be by the regionals. He's got to get out there and pitch. So no, I agree. I think if he's healthy, he feels good. He bounced back from his last outing, 100%. Yeah, he pitches Sunday. Hopefully you run him up there and get him close to 50 pitches, and then hopefully get him another start before regionals.
He had a great first inning last week on Saturday, but then in the second inning just kind of got away from him there. As you were watching him, what did you see from him? Did he look like the guy that we saw those first few weeks of the season, who was State's Friday night guy?
I saw a guy that is trying to come back from an injury that is going kind of getting over that last hurdle. And, you can throw all the simulated games you want. You can do all that you want. But until you get out on the mound and then adrenaline flows, that's going to be the last hurdle. That's going to be the last test. Velocity was good. I think his stuff was good. I think he wasn't quite as sharp, but the dude ain't pitched in, 6, 7, 8 weeks. So that was to be expected. I didn't, to me, he looked good. I mean, my main concern with him was get him on the mound and see how he feels 2 days after start. If he can keep kind of getting better and you don't have any lingering issues, I think you're on the right path with him. I mean, to me, that was all I was concerned about with him.
I wanted to ask you about Texas A&M. Watching that game last night, I know the Aggies have had some injury issues, but man, Jay, they look like they have some guys that don't belong pitching in the SEC. Just from that game, it reminded me of State a few years back. I guess that would have been 2023 when they were just walking guys and everybody was hitting them very hard. This Aggie pitching staff has just been really hit hard by the injury bug. Do you think they have the depth to maybe come back and get a win in this series? It just feels like they are struggling to find guys on the mound.
Well, the one thing they can do is swing the bat.
Yeah.
And, that's what scares me about them. And you get in a group where I think you're going to have to score 7, 8, 9 runs to beat them the next 2 days because I think they're going to be able to score some runs. So, to me, that's what worries about them. You get in there, we start overswinging a little bit, and next thing you know, they kind of get us. But, the problem they're going to have postseason-wise is they're going to run into some really good arms. And when they do, they're going to have a hard time with the pitching they have right now. I don't see that. To me, you've got to have a team that has a true number one. You got to have a team that has some depth on the mound, and I don't see that right now with Texas A&M.
The SEC tournament coming up next weekend, but we feel pretty confident right this second. I think that the Starkville Regional's a thing. I would feel really good about the Starkville Super Regional possibly being a thing if Mississippi State can get another win. Maybe they need a win in Hoover just to make things sure. How should State handle the SEC tournament? I asked Coach O'Connor, and he said, look, I go to a tournament, I try to win it. But in the back of his mind, he has to be thinking more along the lines of how do I manage my pitching so that, when we get to regional play, I'm good to go.
Yeah. I was talking to somebody yesterday about that. I mean, our history in the SEC tournament is not good over the last few years. I mean, we just don't play well now. And
it's funny, Jay. A few years back, we were one of the best SEC tournament teams. We had a couple of championships in there.
I mean, I remember the national championship year. We went over and got just hammered, and then went home. And I mean, I don't know. I think the hard part of that tournament to me is the first couple games. Mm-hmm. If you can get past the first couple of games, then all of a sudden you can kind of get your rotation back into where it needs to be. But that Wednesday game is going to be tricky. And to me, it's going to be really tough because it's going to turn into a bullpen game. I mean, you're not going to have any of your starters throwing. You're going to have pretty much just your bullpen to pick it up. And I think you've got to go over there and play to win. I really do. I think you really need to win. If you can win a game or two over there, it really kind of makes the national seed a real possibility at that point, especially if you can win this series on the road.
So just from that perspective, then, thinking about game one on a Wednesday, who would you throw?
We used to have a saying, Johnny would throw, Johnny Holstaff.
Yeah.
Johnny would definitely get that start. I mean, because you're not going to throw any of your guys. I mean, I'm telling you a guy that I would run out there and I wouldn't have any problem doing it. It's Charlie Foster.
I was going to say that name. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Charlie, and Charlie has some of the best stuff in the SEC. We've all seen Charlie struggle, though. But I would run him out there because, I mean, he's, to me, the wild card in this deal. He could go out there and throw 6 shutouts, or he could go an inning and a third. I mean, that's just kind of been Charlie's deal this year. So, I mean, that would be my guy, is run him out there, see what happens. And if he gets in trouble early, you got, Billingsley, you got some of these other guys you can come in with him afterwards and just try to piece it together at that point. But the thing is, pretty much everybody else is going to be in the same shoes on that day.
Exactly. So, Jay, appreciate your time as always, man. We'll talk to you again soon.
All right, man. Thank you.
Jay Powell joins us on the Farm Bureau guest line. Check out favorites.com and go with the home team, Mississippi Farm Bureau. Bulldogs trying to get that series win on the road. If they win tonight, that'll be their third road series win, and they would be in double digit wins on the road this year. They could finish no worse than 10-5 on the road should they get that win this year. So more when we come back. Sports Talk Mississippi with you here on a Friday. Back in just a minute.
And the Venable Glass.
It's a place for crazy people.
If it's sports in Mississippi, you'll hear about it here. Sports Talk Mississippi on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Five lighters on my dresser, yes sir. You know I got to get paid.
Sports Talk Mississippi back with you here on a Friday. Brian Haydad, Michael Borky. If you're looking for a new car, new or pre-owned vehicle, go see my friends at Belk Ford and Oxford Toyota. That's where my car came from. That's where your next car could come from as well. It's worth the drive because of one thing. You can buy a car anywhere. There's dealerships all over the state of Mississippi. Heck, you can probably get a good deal at a lot of them. But who makes the buying experience worthwhile? Who makes you feel at home? Who makes you feel comfortable? And who makes you want to come back for that next purchase down the road? That's what they give you at Oxford Toyota and Belk Ford in Oxford. If you're looking for a new or pre-owned vehicle right now, the place to visit, Oxford Toyota, Belk Ford. Guess where Oxford Toyota is? It's in Oxford.
No way.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you.
This is interesting, at least to me. The Las Vegas Golden Knights, the hockey team in Las Vegas. They should just be the Knights, by the way, not the Golden Knights, but they didn't ask me. Have had to forfeit a second-round pick, and their coach has been fined a cool $100,000 for violating the league's media policy. He did not meet with the media after Game 6, and the locker room was closed. So players did not speak to the media either. The team shut them out. They lost a draft pick, and the coach got fined $100,000 for not doing it.
The NHL cares about its media. That's all you can say about that. Thank you, NHL. The hockey beat writers must love you.
I'm sure he makes a ton of money. I don't know the coaching salaries in the NHL off the top of my head. You probably should have just done 10 minutes in front of the media, brother.
Would have made it a lot easier, yeah.
I mean, imagine what that $100,000 could have done. Could have gone to St. Jude. Could buy a boat. Could do anything.
You could buy a boat, or you could try the mystery box.
Could be anything.
Could be anything. Could even be a boat.
And what's odd about it, hey, Dad, is they won the game.
Yeah, it's really weird. That guy, Tortorella, I believe is how you pronounce it, he's a bit of a character. I've seen a lot of stuff from him in the past, and I've heard that name before, so I don't know. But yeah, the fact that they gave him a second-round draft, can you imagine the NFL? You talk about somebody that would get appealed real quick. You find out you're losing a second-round draft choice because you shut out the media. Yeah. But that's the thing, though. You have these. It's one of the things I always think about college sports, which makes it weird, right? In high school, if you cover high school football, if you want to talk to a high school football player, just go on the field. Go on the field after the game. Hey, come here. They'll talk to you. You can get an interview with any high school player you want. In the pros, it's part of their job. It's part of the labor agreement. Hey, open locker room. Hey, you have to go do media. It's just part of it, right? You can't escape it. In college, for whatever reason, which is the part of life where you're supposed to be getting them ready for the next step, it's very protected. I cannot just reach out to a player and say, hey, can I get you on the podcast? I have to go through channels for that, and the chances of me getting that player are probably very slim. Last year, Mississippi State was really good about I asked for 3 players, and I got 3 players. I wanted to have Blake Shapen on the pod. I wanted to have Hubbard on the pod. I wanted to have Ace Reese on the pod. They were able to do that for me. But if I wanted to make like a weekly thing out of it, I think they would probably tell me to go through one of their NIL perspectives that I have to pay to do it. So, yeah, but that said, it's part of the labor agreement. So my guess is that they're thinking, look, this could set a precedent, and the next thing you know, we're going to court because this is part of our labor agreement. So you don't want to deal with that. So hey, it's hard. That's hardcore, but it is what it is.
Is what it is.
That's what I just said. I just said that.
I know.
So in the college football fix, you guys, I hope you're ready for the worst take you've ever heard. I don't know that you're ready, but you need to be ready. You need to be preparing yourself right now.
We've gotten so far into the wrong direction. You see it. So there's a viral tweet out there, and it's like so much of political discourse, it names a specific party, is just them pretending not to understand things, thus making the discourse impossible. Mm-hmm. We've gotten to that point with LSU people.
Oh, no.
I mean, they're relitigating the Ole Miss should have let Lane coach the playoff thing again. I mean, they're doing that whole conversation again. And nobody but you agrees with that. Just stop. Like, you got to defend the guy now. I get it. But poor Lane. I had a guy in my mentions today, hey, Dad, saying that it was a witch hunt, and the usual liberal media should be coming to Lane's defense because he's trying to fix racial issues. That's how ridiculous the discourse has gotten. We're doing that now with the 2014 playoff. We are getting into the playoff expansion discourse is just pretending not to understand things, thus making the discourse impossible. And the worldwide leader in sports could not have been worse today, and we will play that for you when we come back. Sports Talk Mississippi, after the news, your college football fix.
It's in my face.
Sports Talk Mississippi. To the junction, in the groove, and to the top. Sports Talk Mississippi on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Tell you I'd be home every night. Breakfast in bed and we'll never fight. Say I'm wrong when I know I'm right, but baby, I'd be lying. Only staying on for a day or two.
Welcome back, Sports Talk Mississippi. 601-879-4395 is the C Spire text line. You want to be a part of the show? That's how you do it. But right now, you know what time it is. It's time for the college football fix.
The college football fix is driven by your Mississippi Ford dealers. Built Ford Tough. That's the best-selling truck in America, the Ford F-150. And that's what it's been for a long, long time. You want a new truck? You're thinking about it right now, aren't you? Make it real easy on yourself. Head to your local Mississippi Ford dealers today. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
All right, so there's been a lot of talk about the 12 to 2014 playoff. Should it be 16? Should it be whatever? You had Reese Davis go on record talking about it, how 16 is bad, but 24 is inexcusable. ESPN has delivered the marching orders, it seems. But this in particular from this morning's Get Up is possibly the most... There is no world in which this actually does happen. But here's Mike Greenberg talking to Heather Dinich and Paul Feinbaum, because Feinbaum is the voice of college football on the national shows. Of all the people that they employ, that's the one they choose. But anyway. But here's Mike Greenberg talking about what would happen if the college football playoff expands to 24.
I will say this. I don't know what ESPN does and doesn't want, but what I can tell you with certainty is that the idea that good teams, championship-worthy teams, get left out of the playoff is a good thing, not a bad thing. If you put every single team that might win the championship into the playoff, then to Paul's point, you might just as well not play the regular season to begin with. If we live in a world, Heather Dinich, we live in a world where Ohio State and Michigan rest their starters for that game at the end of the season because they've got the potential of 5 playoff games still sitting in front of them, then college football as we have known it ceases to exist. So I don't have a vote in any of this, Heather. Obviously, other people do, and they'll make the decisions they make based on a lot of reasons that candidly have nothing to do with what's in the best interest of the game itself. All right, Heather and Paul.
All right, that last part's actually true because the people involved don't have the game's best interest in mind. They don't.
No. But you can also tell that Greenberg is not a college football guy.
He's an NFL guy.
Yeah.
Clearly, because at the end of the NFL season, some teams that have their playoff situation done will rest starters.
Right. You're never going to do it in college because those end of the season games mean so much to your fans. Like, can you imagine? And I think they use the example of Ohio State, Michigan. If Ryan Day was just like, "Hey, we're in the playoff. We're not starting our guys against Michigan," I mean, he'd be fired the next day.
We saw that happen. Now, he didn't lose on purpose. All of his starters played, but even after Ohio State won the national championship, but they still lost to Michigan at home, the fans were still like,
You need to beat Michigan. Yeah.
Like, that's not acceptable, though. You don't lose to Michigan. If Pete Golding were to sit Trinidad Chambliss in the Egg Bowl because he's already got the playoff locked up and lost, by the time they got home, boosters would have moving trucks in his driveway. Losing your rival game, quote unquote, on purpose because, well, you're already in the playoff.
Yeah.
It's
just because college football is just different, and these rivalries mean something. Because, let's say Greenberg's a Jets fan. Let's just really stretch our brains.
And he went to
here.
Northwestern.
Let's just really stretch our brains here and say the Jets are in the playoffs, right? And in week 17, week 17, week 18, whatever it is, they're playing, I don't know, the Arizona Cardinals. And they're just like, hey, guys, we're already in the playoffs. We can't improve our seeding. Let's just not worry about it, right? Jets fans don't have to walk around the streets of New York worried about running into Cardinals fans saying, oh, we got you on Sunday. We got you. We're better than y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Day has to worry about that. Pete Golding and Jeff Levy have to worry about that. Kalen DeBoer and Alex Galesh have to worry about that. You don't want your fans like, hey, I'm tired of going to church or going to work or going to wherever and seeing these other fans, and all they're doing is reminding me how badly they beat us. I can't deal with that. And so it's just a different animal that Greenberg isn't prepared to discuss there.
And also, because of the way the NFL playoff is formatted versus even what a 24-team college playoff would be formatted, there is still stuff to be gained and lost in the last weekend of the season. There is very unlikely to be a scenario in which you can lose nothing by losing the last game of the season in the college football playoff, even in the 24, which I don't want. I don't want the 24. Mm-hmm. But don't try to do the scare tactic BS of, oh, well, Ohio State's not even going to try to beat Michigan. They won the national championship, and their fans were still like, Ryan Day kind of sucks. Yeah. How did you – because it didn't – the conversation, yes, they were happy they won the national championship, of course, but then it turned into, how the hell did you lose to Michigan?
Right. It becomes a thing, right? Alabama has won a national title, I think, after losing to Auburn. And it becomes, well, what? How did you do that? Why did you, that doesn't make any sense. You're the best team in the country, but you're not the best team in your own state. How does that work? Yeah, coaches don't want to deal with that. They don't want to go to their booster meetings. They don't want to go on those road trips, and their fans are shaking them on the hand, shaking their hands and patting them on the back like, great job, coach, but let's make sure we beat Auburn next year. You don't want that.
Richard in Rankin County says, y'all are wrong. Playoffs will outweigh rivalries. They will if you win them. If you rest starters, lose your rival game, and then lose your playoff game,
yeah,
That's only excusable if you win the national championship. And again, even then, we have a real life example where that happened, and fans were still like, "Next year, you better beat Michigan, buddy."
And also, Marty's right. Seeding's going to matter.
Yes, because you'll get home games and stuff like that.
Let's just play like this. Let's say there was a 2014 playoff in effect last year, right? And Ole Miss loses the Egg Bowl to a not great Mississippi State team.
They lose a game in Oxford.
They're not playing the game at home.
They're going on the road somewhere.
Yeah. So those games are always going to matter.
Matt, and to the point where, and then Stuart Mandel said that agents are going to tell their players to sit out of playoff games. He's like, if we go to 24, agents are going to tell players to sit out of playoff games. I'm here to tell you, they get paid too much for that. And their contracts, I mean, even if you just want to look at it from a money perspective, if they opt out of a playoff game, they will lose a lot of money because there's no way the contracts will allow them to do that, number one.
All those contracts are going to be designed to go through the end of the season.
And number two, NFL teams bypass bowl opt-outs. They don't look at that very strongly. Some of them do, but that's... If you opt out of a playoff game, if you are a healthy player that chooses not to play in a playoff game, it will damage your draft stock.
They will
guaranteed.
They will
100%.
ask you why you did that,
and they won't like the answer either.
Yeah, whatever answer you give, because it's going to turn into. So, what about us? Are you going to play in all our games? Yeah, you can when your team is 7-5 and it's going to the Independence Bowl. You can justify, hey, I didn't want to play in the last game of the season. Your team has a chance to win the national title and you didn't play. That tells me you don't love football.
You're not. Yes, you love what football does, not what football is.
And that's not gonna help.
That will damage your draft stock, guaranteed.
Yeah. So
I wouldn't want that on my team.
No,
0%. A guy opting out of a bowl game, I can look past that.
Yeah, guy opting out of a chance to play for the national championship.
No, I don't want you.
Agreed.
And then somebody said, never saw the day where players would opt out of bowl games. I did. I'm not surprised by that. That's not a surprising situation. The second ESPN forced us to have 40 bowl games is the day you started seeing opt-outs of those bowl games.
Yeah.
When there was 10 of them, that's a different story. That won't happen. An agent will not advise his client. And if he does, he's a bad actor and not a real agent.
Yeah, and then that's the kind of guy who, going forward, teams will tell their players, don't associate with this guy. You'll lose business doing that.
Yeah. Somebody says Kiffin opted out of a playoff game and got $90 million. Well, it was the right decision. It was the correct decision.
He didn't opt out. He wanted to play.
He did not opt out of the playoff.
He got forced out.
Which he should have.
Well, he should have, exactly.
He should have.
He did not choose not to be in the playoff.
He chose to take the LSU job,
which took him out. Yes. He wanted to be in the playoff, 100%.
He wanted to have his cake and eat it too.
He did.
Keith Carter said, no, you can have LSU's cake and, Pete Golding will go beat Georgia, something you couldn't do earlier that season. That's your college football fix, driven by Ford. We'll be back.
In the Venom.
Sports Talk Mississippi. Sports. On your radio and in the game. SuperTalk Mississippi.
Marty with a good question. What if a guy from Tulane opted out? They had no chance. He's a loser.
Yeah.
He's a loser that I don't want on my team. If you have the opportunity to play for a national championship and you choose not to play, you are a loser, and the NFL will look at you like one.
I agree with that. I think they would. The NFL would definitely be like, "Why did you opt out of this game?" And there's not going to be a good answer.
No.
What is the answer going to be?
Coach, I wanted to protect my body for the NFL. Okay, well, you going to opt out of the wild card round? Because, we're 9-8 and you got the Chiefs next week. Or are you going to not play in that game either? Because our odds aren't good to win the Super Bowl? You going to opt out of the Week 17 game? Yeah, maybe our chance to make the playoff is 10%. You going to not play in that game too? Want to protect your body for next year?
Yeah, I just don't see it happening.
In a league that forces you to play in every game? Like, the Saints were out of the playoffs last week of the season. All the healthy guys had to play.
Yeah.
And with exception, I suppose, but the Saints were out of the playoffs, had no shot at playing the playoffs. Those dudes played their tails off in the last game of the season. That's what they expect out of you. Especially when you're getting paid to play now. I could have heard a counter-argument 10 years ago when you're getting paid $0 that people are publicly aware of.
That's the other side of this. Is these NIL contracts are all designed to get through the playoffs. All the verbiage is in there. You will turn down money, a lot of money probably in some cases.
Does a playoff that large not sort of feel like a participation trophy just for being ranked? A playoff spot feels like it should mean more. I mean, basically everyone in the rankings is getting in, and most won't stand a chance, but maybe I'm just not wanting it to change, and it's going to anyway. Well, at least ESPN is holding ground because they don't want to give up playoff games to Fox. It's not noble, it's just business, but no, I'm with you. I don't like the fact that the playoff is expanding to include teams that went 8-4. I don't like that.
Right.
I mean, that's in the Big Ten, you don't have to play a Power 4 opponent. Look at Indiana's schedule last year and this year. Michigan's 2 years ago. Ohio State's 3 years ago. They didn't play a power opponent. None of them.
Right.
And so Iowa, I hate I'm picking on Iowa, but Iowa can win their games against...
But they play Iowa State. That's not a good example.
Yeah, that's not a good example.
They play that game that I'm not allowed to say on the air.
Okay, Michigan State.
Yeah.
Michigan State can play Indiana State, Central Michigan, and Western Michigan.
Right.
And then go 5-4 in conference and conceivably make the playoff.
Could find their way in for sure.
That's not right either. I do think we're headed there. I don't have to like it, but I do think we're headed there.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
We will see. Somebody says it doesn't matter. I think it absolutely matters. It changes the dynamic of the regular season of the sport that we've grown to love so much.
Yeah.
Right now, the regular season is largely unchanged. Frankly, it's a little bit more interesting. BYU played truly meaningful games last season nationally. That's interesting. I don't foresee the last month of the season feeling like it does now with 24. Now, there's nuances, right? Like we talked about seeding. Like seeding, that'll be a thing to pay attention to. But, I mean, I was locked into Tennessee Vanderbilt because I thought Vanderbilt was going to make the playoff. They beat the heck out of Tennessee. They beat Tennessee so bad that they damaged their best win by knocking Tennessee out of the rankings. That's how bad they beat them that day.
Yeah.
But I was into that game. Yeah, locked in. Whew, Vanderbilt can make the playoff. Now, they're making it regardless in the exact same scenario. I say now. When they go to 24, that game is meaningless. Both of those teams are making it. So me, as a casual observer from the outside, I don't care to see that game anymore.
Yeah.
I'll see them both next week or 2 weeks.
I get what you're saying.
Somebody says football is not meant for tournaments. Not long ones. Not long ones.
Yeah.
A few games. Like 3.
Yeah. I mean, when you think about the NFL playoffs, that is a tournament. We just don't ever refer to it as a tournament. But it is a tournament, technically. Any playoff that is like the Premier League is not a tournament, right? It's just whoever wins the most in the regular season is the champion. There's no tournament there. But the NFL, I mean, it is a tournament. We just don't ever call it that.
We could really troll people by calling it the tournament, the college football tournament.
We could.
We should do that at media days. Just one of our interviews with a very familiar person.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about the expansion of the college football tournament? Ask them and see how many times it takes for them to be like, hey, hold on, what?
Why do you keep calling it that? Yeah. Are we talking about the basketball tournament? No, the football tournament. I'd be a fun troll. Especially if you were doing it with Sankey.
Oh, if we execute our plan to have a content person with us, that needs to be one of the questions.
Yeah.
Where they ask
see
the
how
tournament.
Long, see how many people we can ask before we say, what are you talking about?
Did you say tournament?
About basketball? Yeah.
That'd be fun, actually.
It would be fun.
We will be there. Richard says Mississippi State has a chance
in
a 2014 playoff.
Yeah.
It does become more accessible to more teams, for sure. Is that what we do that for, though?
Yes and no. I mean, I thought Bud Elliott had some really good comments about this today, where he talked about, 20 years ago, if your team, for a lot of teams, not for the top tier teams, right? But for 95% of college football, if your team went 8-4 and went to the Citrus Bowl or the Outback Bowl and then won that, you had a great season. You had a season that your fans would remember. You think about being an Ole Miss fan, right? And I'm trying to think of I don't want to say the Music City Bowl that they went to, but even like Freeze's first year back, where you'd had those 3 terrible years in a row, and Freeze's first year they went 6-6 and went to the Birmingham Bowl. Ole Miss fans still talk fondly about that season, right? But now everybody is so playoff centric, and they start talking about the playoff on day one that you feel like you failed if you don't make the playoff. When college football games are hard to win, as Dan Mullen likes to say, half the teams lose every weekend, and going 8-4 and finishing 17th in the nation and going to a bowl game is still a good season, but we've lost sight of that. And so that's why we have the people talking about this 2014 playoff. 24 teams don't belong in the playoff because, somebody has to go to the Outback Bowl. Or it's not the Outback Bowl anymore. Somebody has to go to the ReliaQuest Bowl. That's a good season. Is it a great season? Is it an elite season? No, but do most fans of most teams, would they love to win 8 or 9 games this year? Yeah, they would.
Is that like a psyop, or is that have we talked people into thinking that matters, or does it actually matter?
Have we talked people into thinking that going 9-4,
like 8-4, we have people convinced that that's.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Ole Miss Sports Network. Toddy.
You remember Omaha, baby.
This is Ole Miss baseball.
You can forget it because it's out of here. Showers in the outfield.
That was a rob job.
A towering shot to the wall. Back to back to back. That's the first double play. And the Rebels are out of the inning. Strike 3 called. He got him on a high fastball. And the Ole Miss Rebels are your national champions.
This is Ole Miss Baseball on the Ole Miss Sports Network from Learfield in partnership with SuperTalk Mississippi Media. Our coverage of Rebel baseball begins with the Ole Miss Dugout Show, presented by Coca-Cola. Fan work is thirsty work. Enjoy a Coca-Cola. And by Ford, Mississippi Ford dealers and the Ford F-150, official truck of the Ole Miss Rebels. The countdown is on to Ole Miss Baseball. Let's go to the broadcast booth with the voice of the Rebels, David Kellum.
Last night here in Tuscaloosa, 14th ranked Alabama edged 15th ranked Ole Miss 5-4. in Game 1 of this week's final 2026 Southeastern Conference Series. Down 3-2, the Tide rallied late and held the Rebels scoreless in the ninth to get the victory. Tonight, we play Game 2 as the Rebs need the split while Bama looks to extend their 7-game SEC win streak and claim the best of 3 at Sewell Thomas Stadium. Hello, I'm David Kellum along with Brad Henderson, and we've got all the action coming up as Ole Miss and Alabama square off at the top of the hour. First, stay tuned for the Ole Miss Dugout Show. That's next on the University of Mississippi Learfield Sports Network.
It's 6:30 in the branch.
And the plate got 3 runs on 3 singles. We helped them out with some walks and an error, and they overcame the deficit and won 5-4.
Yeah, and that's kind of their MO, DK. They've got good starting pitching, and they want to keep the game close and put themselves in a position for either you to make a mistake or them to take advantage and string some hits together, and they did both of those last night and got away with a Game 1 victory.
And they're not fielding just exceptionally well, and we didn't put the ball in play enough. They got a lot of strikeouts, and we didn't put enough pressure on them defensively.
Yeah, that was the irony, right? A team that hasn't fielded it well all year, we didn't put pressure on, and on the flip side, the opportunities we had in some big moments, we didn't make the plays, bunt defenses, etc., to get off the field. So you and I talked about it last night in the postgame, DK. There's no excuses now. We knew we had to win 2 coming down here to have a chance to host back at Swayze. We got 2 games left, so it's got to start tonight.
Got to start tonight. A couple of things were big, though, I thought, Brad. Tristan Becerra got a home run, kind of got off, got a good swing off. That was good to see. Foley had 2 more hits, and, man, he's been on fire lately, so good to see both of those guys have a little success last night.
Yeah, obviously Austin Foley's he's on another level right now as far as how he's seeing the baseball at the plate. And you're right, Tristan Becerra, I know you talked to him after the game last night in the hotel, and just kind of a sense of relief, right, to get that one big knock that ended up putting us up a run right there in the middle of the game. The Rebels just unable to hold on. But, yeah, for us to go deep, as deep as we want to go in the postseason, we're going to have both of those guys offensively.
When we come back, we're going to check out the pitching matchup. We do remind you, too, that stolen bases in the game by the Rebels are presented by Wade Incorporated, who's been serving Mississippi is your John Deere dealer since 1909 with 14 locations to choose from. Be sure to visit your nearest Wade Incorporated dealership for all of your lawn, small, and large tractor needs when it comes time to choose. Remember, nothing runs like a Deere. We will be back to that pitching matchup. Dave Pulaski is going to join us as well, so we'll check out the rest of the SEC and what's going on as the road to Hoover is getting really close. Still a lot of mystery on who's going to be in what slot. We'll talk about that when we come back as well on the Ole Miss Radio Network.
The right field terrace isn't just a place, it's a vibe where the red and blue roar among home run showers, sending opponents into delirium and bringing the energy to Swayze Field. This Ole Miss tradition is brought to you by Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks 49 years straight. Drive F-150, official truck of the Rebels, only at your Mississippi Ford dealer, based on 1977 to 2025 total sales.
Whether it is before you head to Swayze to watch our Rebs play or after the game celebrating a Rebel win, Funky's Oxford is where you want to be this baseball season. With 18 daiquiri machines, an expansive liquor selection, and Oxford's favorite pizza, Funky's is the place to bring your friends, family, and Fido. Rebels play away? We've got you taken care of with full coverage of the Road Rebs on our 15 TVs. From Oxford to Omaha, come hang out at Funky's to make the most of your baseball season.
Hitting them long and touching them all.
Yes, sir, baby. That ball is out of here.
This is Ole Miss Baseball from Learfield.
Hey guys, this is Schaefer Davidson and my wife Lori, owners of Davidson Marble and Granite of Canton, Vicksburg, and McGee. We also have Davidson Monument Company of Forest and Kosciuszko, as well as Central Mississippi Monument Company of Carthage and Louisville.
We offer a variety of granite, marble, and bronze headstones. We are back to pre-pandemic lead times with gray granite running approximately 2 to 3 months.
We are a third-generation family-owned business serving Mississippi since 1937. Check us out on Facebook or at davidsonmarbleandgranite.com.
Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet is Mississippi's largest General Motors business elite dealer. We make it easy to maintain your fleet with over 100 work-ready vehicles available for your job site. Diesel, gas, trucks, vans, and service bodies. And we build to your business specifications. It really is easier with Rogers Dabbs Fleet. Call the Rogers Dabbs Business Elite Fleet Team today at 866-671-4226 or visit us online at rogersdabbs.com. Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet. Find new roads.
Alabama's got their senior recognition they're going to have here today, as they had the last weekend series. We did that last weekend with Texas A&M. We always appreciate your senior players, and especially those that have kind of hung around your place for a long time for sure. It's time now for our pitching diagnosis. It's brought to you by St. Dominic Hospital. Know your own vital stats with the online heart risk assessment. Visit stdom.com/healthyheart to get started. And we will, first of all, look at their guy. Zane Adams is a left-hander, Brad. He's 6'4", 205, a junior from Porter, Texas. Went to Porter High School. And last year he was in the weekend rotation. Went 7-4 with a 5.54 ERA. 15 appearances, 14 starts. He finished second on the team with 62 Ks and 7 wins. Back in 2024, he had a very good freshman year. He was selected to the freshman All-SEC team by the conference coaches as he was a midweek starter, then got into the weekend, ended up with a 4-5 record even as a freshman. In fact, he started Game 3 as a freshman in Oxford in 2024 against Ole Miss and went 7 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs earned, 3 strikeouts and a walk, 107 pitches, and he got the W to go to 4-2 on the year at that point. He played high school in Texas, as we talked about. He was a top-rated left-hander, number 6 overall prospect in the state of Texas. You look at what he's done this year. He's been able to get to 6 innings like 5 times this year, 6 times actually. The longest was 6 1/3 against Auburn in a win. He's got wins over Washington State, Rhode Island, North Florida, and also Vanderbilt. He's taken losses to Kentucky, Oklahoma, and to Tennessee. So 6-3 of the 4.04 earned run average. South Carolina got after him a little bit last week, Brad. He got a season-high 9 strikeouts. We gave up 5 runs, all earned on 6 hits against USC, although he went 100 pitches and won the game. He's gone over 100 pitches now for a total of 6 times.
Yeah, I think he'll be pretty similar to Tyler Fay, except from the other side, David. The left-hander is a 4-pitch mix guy, and he's going to mix it up. He's going to stay he's going to kind of not give in, right, in fastball counts and try and keep you off balance. Fastball 91 to 94. He's been up to 96 with it. The curveball be in the upper 70s, may get to 80, 81. The slider be in the mid to upper 80s, and the changeup will be around 80 miles an hour. Left-hander's only hitting 247 against Adams. Righty's 266. So you'll see us kind of go to our right-handed lineup with Topher Jones in left field. Colin Reuter will DH today, but just another solid starter for Rob Vaughn.
6-3, the 4.04 ERA. Talked to their radio peeps, and they said his changeup is very similar to Hunter Elliott's. Maybe not quite as good. I hope not, because his Hunter's is really good. And he's now 13 strikeouts away from a career 200 as Zane Adams at 187. Taylor Rade goes for the Rebels, a sophomore right-hander, 6'5" from Greenville, South Carolina. Went to Greenville Senior. Of course, last year 15 appearances, 2 starts. A freshman year, he suffered the injury and missed. And Greenville Senior High School is where he pitched in South Carolina, and he was 8-0 with 101 strikeouts, only 14 walks, and he was the Gatorade Player of the Year in South Carolina. He really brought that control, though, right back into college as well, because right now he's sitting on 68 strikeouts and only 7 walks. 14 of the 68 strikeouts came last week against Texas A&M, where he had a season-high 106 pitches on the hill. He's got wins over Nevada, Missouri State, and Texas. He's got a save against Ohio State and a save against Texas, too. He took a loss against Mississippi State, Tennessee, and Georgia. 3-3 is his record, rather, with a 4.56 ERA with 2 saves. But, even in his career, Hindu, 76 strikeouts, only 9 walks in his career, and this will be his 29th appearance.
Yeah, he's been terrific, and you mentioned that outing last weekend that enabled the Rebels to finish off that weekend series win against the Aggies. We talked about the fastball. It will sit 97, 98 miles an hour, and it's an awfully good one. the slider be in the upper 80s. That's his best off-speed pitch. He'll throw a slurve in the low 80s and a changeup in the mid to upper 80s. And the key for Ray, for me, is he's got to at least have one or two off-speed pitches working. He can obviously beat you with the fastball, but if he gets one-dimensional, it can get him in some trouble. If not, he's awfully effective.
Yesterday in the SEC, as that's our pitching matchup, we'll look at the league. Ethan Hendel went 3 for 4 for the Cats with a 2-run homer as Kentucky beat Arkansas 4-3 in Lexington. Vanderbilt knocked off South Carolina 9-1 in Nashville. The Doors got the 9 runs on a 14-hit night. Connor Fennell went 6 1/3 and struck out 7, while Alex Kranzler finished the last 2 2/3 for Vandy and got 4 strikeouts. Florida won at LSU by a score of 11-8. Former Rebel Ethan Serwick hit a grand slam in the Gators' 6-run first inning to jumpstart that victory. Texas beat Missouri out in Texas 6-3 in Austin. Dylan Volantis improved to 8-1 for the Longhorns. He went 7 innings, allowed 1 earned run with 11 Ks, and Carson Tenney went 2 for 4 with a solo homer, his 18th of the year. Tennessee knocked off Oklahoma on the road in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, by a score of 9-7, despite being out-hit 17-7. The Vols got the W using 2 2-run homers in the 5th and 6th innings from Levi Clark and Henry Ford to power past the Sooners. Georgia edged Auburn in a good one, 2-1. And that was at Auburn on the Plains. The Bulldogs set a program record with their 22nd SEC win. Joey Balchko and Matt Scott had 6 strikeouts each for the Dogs, while holding the Tigers to 1 run on just 4 hits. Georgia got the 2 runs on 2 solo shots from Ryan Wynn and Daniel Jackson. Jackson got his league-leading 26th of the year. So sometimes solo shots will beat you if you only need 2. They only needed 2. Mississippi State knocked off Texas A&M 18-11. In College Station. That was a Game 1 score. State got 13 of the 18 runs and 12 of the 16 hits in the 3rd inning alone. And on the mound, Tomas Valinkas got his 9th win for the Dogs, and his brother, Vitas Valencias, was 3 for 5 with a homer and 2 RBIs. Let them tell you what that means. Nonetheless, let's check in with Dave and see what's going on today.
Yeah, DK, just one. My name is John Merrill, the owner of Amada Senior Care. We're your local trusted advisor for senior home care. We provide experienced caregivers for your loved ones so they can remain in their home. Just like you would care for your loved ones, our employees provide assistance with their personal care needs. As your trusted senior advisor, I can help your family navigate the long-term care insurance process. Just call me, John Merrill with Amada Senior Care, for your free in-home consultation. 601-864-3752.
The Ole Miss Dugout Show continues with the head coach of Rebel Baseball, Mike Bianco, presented by Coca-Cola. Fan work is thirsty work. Enjoy a Coca-Cola. Once again, here's David Callum.
And we are back here in Tuscaloosa at Sewell Thomas Stadium, and with Coach Mike Bianco. We've got Ole Miss and Alabama game 2. Trying to get a split here today. Coach, last night, there's a lot of quirky things in that game, but Alabama got it done, got a 1-run win.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, obviously some bad fortune to start that 7th inning, but also you got to tip your hat, to Alabama, because, after, a couple of fortunate, balls at bunt and a swinging bunt to kind of start the inning, not getting a bunt down, a guy off the bench gets a 2-strike base hit to keep the, to move the runners. And then obviously some really good at-bats after that. And we weren't able to get off the field, and that's it. All the 27 outs mean the same. And, and again, I don't think we were at our best either. When you look at offensively, we hit a couple homers. That was good, but we didn't have enough innings to put it together. We had a miss squeeze, bunt, a base running blunder early in the game. And so, some of the things that, we probably left on the table, and when you get down to a 5-4 game, they all count.
Yeah, no doubt. One of those home runs was Tristan Becerra. Good to see him barrel one up. I know that he's fighting like mad to get going again.
Yeah, and he's a guy that, we've seen it before where all of a sudden, a good at-bat, a good game can kind of ignite you, and hopefully that's going to happen for him as well.
As we go today, you got Taylor Ray. You made a decision to move him up to to day 2, so he's really kind of 2 days earlier, and Cade will stay on his day.
He's not really 2 days earlier. He pitched on Saturday, and today's Friday. So that was the whole reason that we made the move, is because one of them was going to be on normal rest, and one of them was going to pitch 1 day sooner, like the rest of the league. And because one, we felt Cade kind of needed that, a smaller bodied guy, a guy that each start probably doesn't recover because of his body, because of the force that he throws the ball with, doesn't recover as quickly as Rabe, and just workload wise, he's got so many more starts under his belt than Rabe has. So we just thought, if you're going to push one up, you might as well push Rabe up, the freshest guy and the guy that bounces back faster.
He's had a really solid year too, but last week was super elite, Coach. 14 strikeouts in our league is phenomenal. That's up there with top performances of all time.
No doubt. And we're going to need another good performance like that out of him again, and obviously get the bats going.
All right, we're looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ole Miss and Bama coming up. We'll continue with our pregame show shortly on the Ole Miss Radio Network.
Your perfect getaway is waiting in coastal Mississippi. Start with some family fun riding the waves. Savor fresh coastal seafood straight from our Gulf to your table. Perfect your backswing on our beautiful courses. Take in our live music, art galleries, and tons of local shops. And when you're ready to relax, our beaches pair perfectly with a drink and a lime. Your next memorable escape is here for you at coastalmississippi.com. So play coastal and go have some fun for fun's sake.
Ole Miss baseball returns after a word from your local station. This is the Ole Miss Sports Network from Learfield.
Jack Hoffman here with Tico Steakhouse. At Tico Steakhouse, tradition is always on the menu, and now that tradition lives in 2 locations, Ridgeland off Caroline Road and in Oxford on the Square. Known for the finest cuts of meat, the perfect sear, and hospitality that feels like home, Tico's is where memories are made every day. Whether you're celebrating a special occasion, hosting a big game win, or even simply enjoying a great meal with friends and family, Tico Steakhouse is the place. Come taste the legacy, savor the tradition.
All Britain's Jewelers.
When love requires a gift, nothing says it better than Albritton's. Since 1920, we've been part of your family. From weddings and anniversaries to holidays, we've been there for every special occasion. At Albritton's, we value your trust. Every gift, whether large or small, is a reflection of our commitment to quality and excellence. There's a reason we're still Mississippi's foremost diamond merchant. Let us show you why. Albritton's Jewelry, 4460 Old Canton Road in Jackson.
Albritton's Jewelers.
Stop suicide. Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to the Ole Miss Dugout Show. It's time now for today's starting lineups, brought to you by Atmos Energy, your natural gas company.
Middle game of the series between Ole Miss and Alabama, just moments away. Here's the starting lineup for the Rebels for tonight's game. Dom Decker is leading off and playing second base. Judd Utermark is in the number 2 spot playing third base. Tristan Becerra is batting third in right field. Will Furness in the cleanup spot at first base. Hayden Federico bats fifth in center field. Colin Reuter's the DH hitting sixth. Austin Foley, the catcher, bats seventh. Owen Pano is the shortstop hitting eighth, and Topher Jones is in left field batting ninth for the Rebs. Taylor Rabe will toe the rubber for Ole Miss. He'll be opposed by Zane Adams for the Crimson Tide. We'll have the Bama defensive alignment and the first pitch from Tuscaloosa next on the Ole Miss Radio Network.
Today's starting lineups have been brought to you by Atmos Energy, your natural gas company. The first pitch is coming your way next as Ole Miss baseball continues right after these messages.
Ever imagine one company could transform how you live and work? With C-Spire, you're connected with advanced technology that enhances everything you do. How you order your morning coffee.
Order my usual.
How you secure your company's data. Even how you turn your backyard into your personal movie theater.
Start movie night.
Own your day on the network for connected living. There's more to see. C-Spire. Customer inspired.
What a matchup we've got, folks. Just nonstop action. The energy is electric and the fans are all in. An intense game like this calls for a Coca-Cola.
A SuperTalk Mississippi media production.